In our featured story today, the evangelical Christmas themes of grift and greed, hucksterism and hate, well, they were joyfully delivered yesterday at the Omaha mega church, Lord of the Host, by MAGA prophesizing pastor Hank Kunneman. Way to get a load of this guy. Welcome to Occupy Democrats, and hit that subscribe button if you believe, like I do, these holy roller white guys are just
full of shite.
What blood? The blood of this covenant. Glory to God.
Okay, so that guy is Kenneth Copeland, but his brother in harm, Hank Kunneman, he's the subject of today's video. He's another in a long line of hucksters hustling people out of their hard-earned money, all in the name of God. Now, mind you, not my God, but the God of the new Apostolic Reform. What's that? Well, it's the piously political group that counts allegiances from the likes of Mike Johnson and Hank Kunneman. Let's get up to speed with these folks from the good and true Reverend Carla.
But the powers behind Project 2025 have a powerful accomplice. And this accomplice is a more sinister side of Christian nationalism. And Mike Johnson is at the forefront. The New Apostolic Reformation, or the NAR. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, the NAR is the greatest threat to American democracy that no one has ever heard of. This takes Christian nationalism to a whole other level of extremism and violence. The NAR stems from the charismatic evangelical movement. They believe in modern-day prophets and apostles. Remember when Mike Johnson claimed that he was the modern-day Moses? This is where you see the ties to the Seven Mountain Mandate. This is why the NAR is even more sinister than Christian nationalism. Spiritual warfare is a tenet of the NAR because they believe that anyone who doesn't believe as they do are possessed by demons. This also includes a belief that the LGBTQIA+ community are possessed by demons. This leads to a rationalization that spiritual warfare can lead to physical warfare. You can see how dangerous this movement really is.
Okay, now with Trump in office and the Seven Mountain Mandate rewriting the dictates of the Bible to the convenience of the wicked, apparently you can say anything now with impunity. And today's video, it's from yesterday's stirring sermon. Well, it includes a Bible lesson so offensive, sly foxes everywhere, including, I would imagine, the Secretary of the Treasury should be deeply offended. Now, I promise this will all make sense in a moment. Now, before we show you today's featured clip, let's see what Preacher Hank had to say about Trump's charges of election fraud. By God, on the other side of this, cover your ears and somebody cover Scott Bessent's ears.
Watch this. This is what God's been talking about. Don't attack the prophetic words. Do you throw out the presidential election results of 2020? Out? And do you declare the rightful winner? Yes. Or do you have a new election? No, because if you won in the Olympics, why do you have to run again? A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows, watch this, something is happening, folks. Something is happening. I know you may not like it. A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Our great founders did not want and would not condone false and fraudulent elections. And neither, by the way, neither does the military. How many of you military men? You swore an oath, did you not? To your country and to its Constitution.
Okay, here's our featured good news from the pulpit of prophet at the Lord of the Host Church, Pastor Hank Kunneman, who, ironically, tells the story of Jesus turning over the tables and chasing out the money changers, with a biblical interpretation that is so offensive you just have to hear it to believe it. Open your hearts right after you open your wallets.
Well, see, Pastor Hank, Jesus did not go around and, upset anyone. Yes, he did. He turned over tables. He took a whip, fashioned it all night, went into the temple. More than once he cleansed the temple. I guarantee you somebody was probably in the crosshairs of those whips, turning over the tables. I'm sure one of them probably had one of those tables fall on their foot. How about when he told the disciples and the people, said, hey, by the way, go tell Herod. okay, who was in government. Well, if Jesus, we're supposed to stay out of politics. Why don't you act like Jesus? We're supposed to do what he did. He said, go tell Herod the fox. Now, that word fox was not, oh, go tell that sly guy. No, literal translation of sly fox is basically someone who is bisexual. I've heard some people use the word that it literally meant to call out Herod's sexual immorality and lifestyle as a bisexual human being leader. And Jesus involved himself. He was not afraid to speak up.
Now, in the MAGA world, where patriotism and Christianity, well, they're justifications for horrible beliefs and sometimes even worse actions, well, when it comes to being possessed by an unholy spirit, seems to me the ayes have it.